Hello and welcome to Pratik Chess Videos.
Hey Joseph, today we are going to see game between Schulten and Morphy in the year 1857. Alright, let's start the game. The game started e4, e5, f4, d5, e into d5, e4, knight c3, attacking e4, knight f6, defending e4, d3, attacking e4, bishop b4, pinning the knight, now bishop to d2. Now the c3 is protected, but now e3, good move. Now the idea of the e3 move is to play, the idea of the e3 move is to open the e file and use it for development and initiative and attack on the white king. So very instructive how Black does that, because Morphy always emphasizes Morphy always was gave more attention to these kinds of things. I mean, this bishop into e3, short castle, bishop to d2, bishop into c3, bishop into c3, and then, well, instead of bishop into c3, b into c3 was played actually, which is a nice, not so nice move, because now, well, if c4 comes and then this is defended, so this is the idea. But now rook to e8 check, bishop to e2, and then bishop to g4. Here pinning the uh, uh, yep, I got it, pinning the king. So this bishop is completely pinned, and then white black can increase the pressure firstly with knight into d5, and then instead of knight into d5, queen into d5 is also nice. Queen into g2 is threatened, so you have queen into d5 and then queen into g2 is threatened, so that will be very bad. So that's why c4 defending the d5. But now c6 comes. All right, c6, interesting. um, well, black does what? Black does c6 with the idea of c into d5 and then things. And now d into c6 was played, which is very sadly a big blunder. Why is it a blunder? Let's see. So d into c6 is a blunder because now comes, yes, knight into c6, and you just gave the opponent the d4 square for the knight to increase more pressure on this pin. You seriously gave him the d4 square. You gave him the whole open d file. White, black can also play queen to d4. You gave the knight, you uh, allowed the knight to get on c6. I mean, how is this not a blunder? I kept wondering. So king f1 was played in the game. And now pause the video and think, what should you play? And now rook into e2, thwack. Wow, nice. What a move. What a move. Alright, so the idea of this move is that, well, here after rook into e2, now black goes for the development and initiative. And uh, one thing is that by the end of this game, white will hate the word pin. So that's the thing. All right. So well, because Morphy here sacks a rook to keep white pinned up and to continue creating threats with tempo. The decision presages rook into d7 in his brilliant opera game. And then knight into e2 and then knight to d4. It's pp on the pp. Well, pin on the pin. So now queen b1. This sad move recalls Letier's queen b1 against Fischer. Justice in that game, there's not a better alternative to be recommended. Very sadly. So now bishop into e2 check. And then there's king to f2. Well, if king to g1, then knight into c2. Here with the idea of queen d4 check. And then the queen will rule. So king e1, queen e7 and white is toast on the e file. So well, so now after king to f2 knight g4 check, king to g1 should be played and many moves win now. But how would you win it? It was played knight to f3 check, brilliant move. What a move. Idea is just to crush. Alright, what a crushing sack. Oh my god. What a nice crushing sacrifice by Morphy. So idea here is that after g into f3, well, instead of knight f3 check, knight into c2 also could have been played, which is also a good move. This threatening queen d4 mate is also a nice but less forcing solution. After knight f3, well, the idea of both the moves is to clear the d4, so it's just clearance. Well, if you clear d4, then it's obvious that black is doomed, because when you clear d4, sorry, white is doomed because when you clear d4, the queen comes and then it will follow queen f2 check and the king will be just toast. So king to g2 and then queen to f2 check, king to h3. It's forced, so now queen into f3 check, king to h4 and then knight to h6. Idea is queen to g4 followed, well, that queen to g4, which is checkmate. Morphy actually finds the most accurate way to move the knight to e3 was equally good, and the threat of queen g4 checkmate forces mate in 3. So queen to g1, knight f5 check, king to g5 and then queen h5 check. Alright, so now white, and now it was checkmate. But let's see how white got this position. I mean, how it resulted in such a bad position. So it was good until here, everything good. Still just chill good. Alright. It's just good. Now create. Still it's good. C4 still good. And now's the deal. Well, everything of this happened because White just played the baddest move available strategically in this position, d into c6. Well, now we wonder that how chess would have been without strengths. who popularized the positional school of chess. I mean, seriously, people playing d into c6 is just no, it's not that good to be put in words. So after that, you just allowed d4. You just allowed the knight access to d4, the rook, the open d file to attack. You also allowed the queen access to d4, and the knight became so active in c6. The end was just expected. So it was nothing. Even if it hadn't ended this way, it would have been ended the other way around. So this was the amazing game. Well, I hope you liked this video, and don't forget to click the subscribe button and the bell icon